All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Just getting a couple things straightened out here. Oh, fucking music disconnected. Oh no, it's working. Okay. Oh man. What a time it's been so far. I know I'm looking filthy right now. After the stream, I'm gonna shower and shave. I've showered. I just haven't shaved. Um, let's see here. Just make sure I don't get any feedback. And it shouldn't be picking up these other tracks, so there shouldn't be any. Okay, so still working on San Francisco, still working on the project, and I've just been busy. Like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when I did stream on that one Thursday, um, I got the idea, you know what, maybe I should create a tool that allows me to place prefab clutter like this. As you can see here, it's the kind of stuff I was talking about. You know, going into a level, again, these are dynamic objects, as you can see here. Why is this not registering in the level though? Oh, there it is. Okay. Or in the outliner. They're all dynamic objects. And when a vehicle rams through these, it'll send them flying in different directions. It's not going to be like an entire merged mesh flopping, or not even flopping, but just tumbling around like tumbleweed with the chairs and table and umbrella intact. That's not a desired effect. I mean, ideally, even with the umbrella, you'd want like the fabric effects and shit like that. Right now, I'm not worried about that. The umbrella is still gonna get tumbled, opened up, and it's not gonna get ragged or torn apart or anything. The important part was getting these individual meshes to act as separate entities within this setup. Because right now, I'm pretty sure there's a few instances still in the levels where we have merged assets that are also destructible, but when they are destroyed, they don't come apart in a desired fashion. So I spent last week doing a little R&D, a little messing around, like I said I wouldn't, but I was gonna do it anyways, to try and develop a tool that I can use as a level designer that would allow me to drag a blueprint like this into the level. I've already pretty much got everything set up. I'm adding one more quality of life feature for myself. Now you'll see over here, I can pick from a drop down of prefabs that I've done. Now I've taken a lot of these blueprints and I'm gonna pretty much like what I'm doing in this level. I'm gonna arrange them. You know, I'll set them at 0. I'll arrange them, and then I've got this really cool widget that I'll open up. This is the first part of the tool. This is to author these prefab objects. Now, what it'll do is it'll allow me to pick all these objects. It'll take the first one I picked as the, I guess, the pivot center of that setup, and I just press create from new selection or create from selection with a name typed in here, of course, and it'll create a prefab data asset into this folder with these assets stored in it. Now they're all separate, they're all dynamic objects, so they'll react to players removing them from the maps and vehicles hitting them, and they'll also react as objects in the game that are obstacles. So as you can see here, I've got like patio clutter, and I've got like 4 test variants, and then I have another one for warehouse, and these are just, you know, test assets that I've been using while I'm building the tool. And this widget will allow me to create these prefabs, while this blueprint here will allow me to drag it into the level, and I can either choose from a category like patio furniture, warehouse clutter, stuff like that. And it's not working perfectly right now, but it should. Let's go to patio furniture. Here's one example. And on the warehouse clutter, I have to rebuild those because the pivot point on one of them was messed up and that was my fault. But ideally, I want the pivot point on the ground level so I could drag these into a level, put them on the ground level, and not have to worry about floating objects. So I have this variation selected. Let's see. Yeah, it's patio prefabs category. Spawn prefab. It spawns something, and there it is. It saves me the time of having to go into the level by hand and, you know, put them together for every instance, or even just selecting them, dragging and copy. This tool just makes it easier because I'm only going to have one of these actors in the level. And all I have to do is use that. And I can set the prefabs here either by category or single instance. Now, the thing I'm trying to set up here right now is the randomization. Right now, after clicking that, let's go back. Okay, it's gone. Now, when I click spawn, it's supposed to stamp these into the level, and it's supposed to randomly choose another prefab from the single prefab list within that category, so that the next placement won't look exactly like the last. So that right now it worked the first time, but after the subsequent clicks, it stopped working. Now I don't know, maybe did I fuck that up? Okay, I set it back to 0. Let's see what happens here. Let me delete these. I don't want to put too much clutter in this. This is my prefab authoring level. It's just an empty level. It's something I'm going to save. It's still on ground level. Let's stamp, and then right there you see it did change. I'll stamp that one. Boom, and it didn't change the second time. I don't know why it's doing it. Something with the random seed here that I'm going to need to modify. But it worked the first time. Now I just need to keep working. And if I keep doing this, that's another thing that's wrong with this tool right now. Is I'll keep stamping and it still won't change. But eventually... Oh, fuck. Now it did. That's weird. I don't know why it took 3 times. Maybe I need to have more variations in there so that it has more to choose from. Let's see. Oops. Okay. Nope. Still, well, the last time I tested this, it changed to the warehouse clutter for some reason automatically. Like it jumped categories, which it shouldn't do. And it should also update the visual, which it didn't do. That's unfortunate. But like, it's still doing the same old thing. Maybe I should clear this. Clear. It doesn't want to clear it now. That's fucking wonderful. Ugh, okay, it's not going well right now. So as you can see, yeah, I'm trying to improve it, and it's not quite working the way it should. But once it's, fully fleshed out, it's gonna be a time saver. I mean, right now I have to physically go in here and go into the drop down and search for the prefab I want to place, which still gets tedious. So I want to eliminate that step so I don't have to do that. Because, yeah, when I first tested it last week, it was just, yeah, it was crap. But now it's working much better. At least it does it the first time. It just craps out after a few stamps. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working on. So right now, what I want to do is create more of these prefabs. Drag in some of those dynamic objects, start putting them in place, make these nice, intricate or simple arrangements, save them out as prefabs, and then just feed them into the category data assets. See, like, let me show you what's up here. See, this data asset houses all the individual pieces. That's what's created. And then the categories contain all the variations of those data assets. So just to give my testing a little more diversity and just to see that it works properly, I'm creating more assets to continue building or improving it. I mean, that's the only feature I wanted to add was the randomization, and then it's done. Because when I was doing it with the simple setup, it just got tiring going over here and picking an asset or picking a category, and it just doing wasn't doing me any justice. It was still slowing me down a bit. And any time I can eliminate that kind of tedious workflow or just cut a step out or two or more is good for level design because San Francisco is a huge map. There's a lot to fill in, and right now it's just me. It's just me doing the work, which isn't a problem. You know, I love what I'm doing. I love looking back on what I've built for this game and just wow, you know, it's something I never thought I'd have the endurance to do because some of these maps are pretty big. San Francisco's pretty big, and we will have more maps. And they might be small or big, but either way, I want to speed things up. And the way I did it, like, I know I have very basic knowledge of blueprints. I know them well enough to do simple things, but something like this, I kind of enlisted the help of ChatGPT. Now, I know how people are about fucking AI, but just like magic, you know, it, it's all in what you do with it or how you use it. Use it responsibly, and there's a way to use it that, you know, don't use it to do, like, I didn't have it build all of this for me. I basically just asked it, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I want to build a tool that does this, and that, but I want to know how to build it from scratch, step by step. So I've been going through the motions of building this step by step with ChatGPT, reporting any bugs that occur, and making the proper adjustments to have this compile and work properly. Sort of kind of like teaching myself more advanced blueprinting. It's a good way to learn. I mean, by doing. And I don't spend a lot of time doing this kind of blueprinting. I mean, maybe for like shaders and shit like that, which is kind of the same workflow where you're connecting nodes and things like that. But now it's like, okay, I can do this for blueprints as well and build tools, and that's pretty much what I've been doing. Um, it's pretty fucking cool, you know. So I'll set this aside. I've got already like a few of these prefabs for the patio furniture. I want four each for warehouse and patio furniture. Um, Damn, I should really keep track of the styles I'm putting together. Let's see this tool. This should update. And it's not updating the visual either. Fuck, now I have to take a look at it. You know what? Let's delete this one and bring a new one in. I will not pick a category. So I have that one. Closed umbrella version. And two chairs, open umbrella. Two chairs, closed umbrella, and then maybe I'll have like a very there. Let's take this umbrella out. Don't need that one either. Let's clear it. Variations without the umbrella will also help. Yeah, like a 4-chair variation without it, and a 2-chair variation without it. So let's do this. First asset is what's going to be the center. relative center of that one. Let's open the widget or run the widget. Let's see, what I want to do here is let's just copy the name. For, oops, didn't want to open that. Come on now. Let's go here, and it's going to be variation 5. Create prefab, boom, we've got a new one. Let's clear this. I don't want to keep petting this thing to death, but I do probably, or I should probably add something that'll clear this, like it clears the name once it creates it, because then I have to go up here, clear it manually, and make the next selection. So let's unselect 2 of these. Now we have a bare table setup, which will be number 6. Once again, create, populates the picker. We get our new asset down here. So let's see, make sure those are populated. You can see it's all in there. So that part works at least. The ability to author them and place them. I just need to get the randomizer to work. And then maybe add that feature so that it clears the picker when I'm creating a new prefab. So I think, I mean, I could make way more variations. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, this is it. Physics objects. Like maybe even switch out the tables or the chairs. Or add things to the tables. Which we don't really have a lot of smaller objects like that. Let's see, I know there's other tables in here, but I think they might be... See, and already I can tell there's a lot of other physics objects I need to throw in here. Let's see. Table. Okay, I already have them in there. That's for another category, though. See, like this. Throw in some. Yeah, we really don't have a whole lot of small objects like that, so it's probably not going to be a thing. Yeah, no. Nah, I mean, I could, but they're not gonna match like a patio setting. We don't have a lot of like salt shaker stuff or towel holders or napkin holders. I mean, a lot of it is much larger assets. Like, I mean, we have this stuff for like, camping, recreational, but nothing for like a restaurant patio or anything like that. Oh yeah, there's not too much here. I mean, I'll just keep it simple. I mean, I could switch out chairs too, but mm, but yeah, all right, let's do another category. There is a warehouse clutter category I was beginning to do stuff for. Bring in some of these. I'm gonna delete the current ones that I have on right now. Here we go. Warehouse clutter, copy the name. Some of these pivot point, the center point for them got a little screwed up, so I'm gonna force delete these. This one has I didn't have patio furniture in there. That's weird. Anyhow, let's just delete all of that. Save it. And house, okay, there's one that I need to delete. I don't need anymore, which is the box clutter and test prefab. I don't need those anymore. Those were just early test assets, early test prefabs. So I've got 6 of those patio furniture. Don't need that open. Let's go back to physics. Bring in one of these. I'm going to make sure it's at 0. I don't think it, well, yeah, it definitely needs to be at 0 because I want it on the ground level. Throw these out. Take this one, copy it. Let's bring in the widget. I need to make sure it's at 0. Yeah, it's fine. Stop for me. Nope. Go warehouse clutter 01. Let's jump back over here so I can see the prefabs coming into existence. Oh yeah, clear that bad boy. Create from selection. There we go. Open it up. And it's got the each element in there. And let's do another variation, maybe with 2 more boxes stacked on top of it. And two. Of course, gotta select from the bottom, top. It should use the first one as the reference point. I really wish it would use 0 point. That's probably something else I'm gonna have to go back and try, but let's create that one. Did it replace the first one? God damn it. Let's see. Let's see if that happened. I don't think it did. Yeah, it did. That's why I want this to clear as well. Because if I have one selected here and I create, whoops, it's going to update the existing one, and that's not what I want. Like, you know, it's going to slow me down in building this because this isn't cleared. It's just going to overwrite the previously created one. So I need to take time to add that feature. That is not a desirable effect. So let's do this one more again. All right, select from the bottom. It's cleared, new name. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is. Let's take it a step further. Let's do a big section like this. Let's clear that. Where are we at now? It's 1, 2, 3. from the bottom. And then I have to check to make sure that it stamps it with the right pivot, because, okay, that didn't turn out well. Let's double check that I have everything selected. So 3 is ready to go. Create from that one, and we're good. Let's do one more variation. Let's hold on. Let's delete these. And then maybe, move this one. Delete that one. Okay, so we have another variation here. Make sure I have all of them selected. Yep. Let's do 04. Oh, see, that's what I'm saying, man. Almost forgot to clear it. So fuck, I need to take the time to do that. Let's go with create, and there we go. So I think that's, oops, don't want to save the level. Pretty straightforward. Again, I still have a little bit of functionality and quality of life features to add to make my workflow a little easier going. But let's test the blueprint now. Let's go into this and make sure that these assets. Why didn't it? Is that one not populated? Oh, that's patio furniture. Now it's not updating the preview. Unfortunate. Okay, it does it for patio furniture. Oh, that's where I'm fucking up. Okay. I have to populate the array. Pendejo. Skipped a whole step there. Save that. Close it. Now let's go back and change the category. Boom, there we are. The pivot is at the bottom, but let's check the others just to make sure. Okay. Some bitch ain't updating. Now. Yeah, it's not updating. Okay, so that's another little thing I need to fix. I just added this today, the randomization. So there are a few kinks I need to work out. Anyways, let's stamp it, see what happens. See, it changed. Okay, pivot is on the ground floor. Excellent. One more time. And it after the first one, it just starts to crap out. And that's what I need to address. So, yeah. Good times. Don't understand why it's doing that. Changes when I do that. Doesn't change again. Doesn't want to change again. Something with the not sure if I did something wrong with the integer node. I'm pretty sure this has something to do with it. Something there needs to change. And that is in, not that one. I think it might be, in this function right here. That's where I'm losing it. Hmm. I'll have to butcher a few things here to see how. I mean, let's see. I need to take notes as to what's going on here. I'm gonna pull another one in. Just delete that old one. So without choosing a category, I'm gonna go with prefab. So that changed. That changed. That changed. So in the single prefab setup, it does update the preview. That's working. I just need the preview to update on the prefab category. Okay, so that's fine. That's working as it should. The only other big issue I have is the fact that it just isn't randomizing the way I expect it to. Let's see. What if I do it here in the single? Yeah, it's still okay. It preserves. Okay, that's what I wanted to do in single prefab mode. You know, like if I manually pick one prefab that I definitely want to stamp over and over again, maybe like these piles of boxes, you know, I can stamp there and then stamp another row and so on and so forth. And if I want to give a variation, then just, you know, delete a few. You know, like, okay, they carried some of those boxes off. So this mode works as expected. It's the, okay, you know what? Maybe it's fucking it up. Let's bring in another one. A clean node or a clean actor that hasn't been modified. And just pick a category. And I go into warehouse assets. And it randomly picks one to show in the preview, but if I pick another one, it's not gonna let me switch it. Yeah, it's being stubborn. And that's not something I want. You know, I want this to pick from a category, but still have the ability to choose one from here and stamp. So, all right, I gotta note that down. Let's see. So, come on, open up. Just delete that last set of notes. I'm gonna want this to randomize, randomize in category mode, which I'm already working on. Um, maybe even a lock asset feature that will allow me to check it in case like I'm in randomize mode for category and I want it to hold on to a specific variation and then unlock it when I want it to randomize again. Update preview. Oops. So I also wanted to update preview when picking variation in category mode. What else? Let's see. I think that might have been it. Oh, change variation after click. and lock variation in category mode. That way, if I'm using category mode, I can just check a box and have it keep it on that variation so I can use it as many times as I want before I decide to go random again. That is what, one, two, three, four things to pick at and see if I can get it to work. But I mean, there it is. I mean, it's working. Not as well as I would like it to, but it's working. And I know I'd rather be just populating the level right now, but doing this kind of thing like one asset at a time. I mean, again, I can do, you know, this where I put one asset into the level, then I copy like I have right here, and then I could just take this stack, copy it up, put it in place, and then maybe select all the other ones and just copy instances as many times as I want. I mean, sure, it seems easy enough, but I mean, placing them, arranging them, and then copying them is just too many clicks. Too many clicks, man. Okay? And when I can limit that to like maybe a couple, one or two, three clicks at the most for setting these kinds of arrangements on the map, it's even better. I don't have to, what I like to call play Barbie's dream house by interior decorating these by hand, asset by asset, when I could just do this once in an empty level like this, save the arrangement as a data asset, and then feed it into a blueprint that will allow me to randomly place these on the map. So we are looking into improving the tools that we use for building levels because we need to cut back on the time it takes to do a lot of this. For instance, the roads. The roads, although our method for placing the roads has improved, it still could be better. As it is still a little bit frustrating. And the tool that we currently have right now it works, but it's limited. Which this is also something that we're gonna do for the building generator. We have what I would call a very archaic random building generator in the project at the moment. It works, again, it gets the job done, but too many steps involved. It could be much, much simpler than what we currently have, and it could make the process a lot easier. Especially since I have to poop these randomly generated buildings out as static meshes so that we can apply it to the world building blueprints that contain the population for the game, the civilian population. It's fun either way. I mean, I felt kind of bad taking the time to do this because it's like, fuck, okay, this is work I could have been doing on the level. But at the same time, taking the time to do this is going to cut back a lot of the tedious work that I have to do to populate these maps. The same thing that we did with the fence builder. Fence builder is as good as it's going to get. It was a blessing. I hate using that damn word, but it was a gift from Derek. Let's just call it that. Derek built that tool for me from some other tool that I had already previously put together. And I kind of told him, "Hey, dude, this tool that you made a while back? Can you take this functionality from that tool and add it to this one that I have?" And he did it, and it fucking works. I can build fences, stamp them into the level with the proper physics blueprint, and it speeds up the process. Where I used to like just go into the level and let's pretend this is a fence mesh, and I would just copy it, drag it over, position it, copy it, drag it over, and that you see how long that takes just within those 3 clicks already. You're like, fuck this shit, dude. Like, it gets old fast, you know. And oh, let's say there's a turn here. Oh, I can copy it, turn it, adjust it so that it lines up with the other, you know. And now we have it on a spline. All I do is create the spline, easy as hell, stamp it into the level, and we have a fence that also reacts to cars running through it. And players can also remove it. So I think that a week spent making my job easier is a week well spent. I don't feel bad that I was doing very little level work during that week because I would come up to sections of the level where I wanted to populate the hell out of it. You know, put little details here and there, like with the patio furniture. You know, there's certain areas in San Francisco we have outdoor seating, and you want to put some patios out there. You know, patio furniture, and instead of arranging the tables and the chairs one by one, it's like fuck this. No, I need some a quicker way to do this. That I don't have to spend time in the engine. You know, okay, here's the table. Oh wait, I'll use these. Here's the table. Here's the umbrella. Here's this chair. And then once that's done, if I wanted to, I could just select all of them, which is still a ton of clicks. Copy or Alt drag to copy it, and even that's still like too much, too many clicks. So I'm glad I took the time, like I did with the nav, took the time to do some testing, some adjustment, and see how things are going to work. I mean, the navigation has improved greatly after I took that week or two. Actually, it was more than that. I spent maybe about 2 months working on nav. But after I was done with all that initial work, I was still having problems. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to make adjustments to the meshes that I'm using, see how it works. The results are great. I implemented that across the entire project. I've had less, probably down to 1% reports of nav issues, and most of them haven't been related to the work I've done. I think there was some changes in the way formations moved around and character collisions that caused units to get stuck in weird places on the map. Now, understandable. I mean, it still has a lot to do with level design. But for me, when I went into test, it wasn't that units were getting stuck. They were just like, let's say, oops, let's go back here. Let's say these two boxes are in the map, and I have two boxes next to each other. Why is it doing that? That's weird. Didn't do so. I hope it's not fucking up the pivots when I place these in there. I have to keep this stuff real straight. That's fine. So let's say these are in the map, and clearly a character or a unit cannot fit through there. There's going to be collision, but there's still sort of like a nav building there. And even though it had plenty of space to go around, for some reason, the units would just try to force their way through that, and it was just like, no, man, it's not going to happen. So in many cases, I've had to like move these apart to give them enough room, which I did. But the greater question is like, why are they doing that? Why are they trying to squeeze between these two boxes when they have plenty, plenty of room to go around? But either way, I mean, it wasn't something that was gonna hurt to just go in there and create more space between those weird nav areas or those weird pinches. But it's something that shouldn't be happening. So I did my part to create a little more space, but programmers have to look into that and see why these units are trying to squeeze through this little space when they have a lot more space to go around. But yeah, I mean, nav problems are over. If they come in few and far in between, and they're not making me pull what's left of my hair out, which is nothing. I'm pulling the hair out of my legs now. Um, so that's a good thing. I mean, taking the time to do that really eased a lot of my headaches, a lot of my anxiety, allowed me to sleep better at night because the nav was driving me nuts. And the nav issues, oh, it's been plaguing me since the beginning of the project. You know, we've done so many things to try to mitigate the issues, and finally, brought it down to like zero. So now taking the time to build this tool is going to speed up work on not just San Francisco, but any level thereafter. I won't have to place sets one by one by one. I can do these prefabricated sets that I can throw in there with one click, and things can move along a lot faster. So with that being said, it's going to be a short stream. I know last week I completely just I locked in. I locked into what I was doing. I wanted to get it done. It's done almost. Just a little bit of tweaking here and there just to get it to work exactly how I want it to. But time well spent. I'm learning a lot about creating tools for myself. Another reason I did this because I don't want to have Dimitri or Derek or even Rob have to drop what they're doing to create tools for me. You know, I know the basics of putting this shit together. The thing is it getting good at something takes practice. It takes time. You got to spend time with it so that you see how it works. You understand what you're doing, and the more I do this, the more I'm understanding blueprints, and pretty soon I'm gonna start delving into C++ once again because back in my youth, when I was in my 20s, late teens, early 20s, I was dabbling in coding, so I understand the basics of just coding, syntax and all that great stuff. And I did a lot of scripting when it came to particle systems in Maya, so I understand it at a basic level. So eventually, I will start messing with some C++ so I can be more more help, not just to myself but to the rest of the team. Uh, and I've been doing it little by little, and now just making the decision to just spend last week doing this kind of you know it helped me out because now it's gonna speed up the world building. Let's see, just checking to see if anybody's hitting me up on Discord. Oh man, I mean, two, two, two or three bug reports in the last few weeks, maybe 2 weeks, regarding nav issues, and they weren't huge. They weren't huge. It was just like either my dumbass did something that I shouldn't have done in the level, or like that instance with units trying to squeeze through boxes that they couldn't fit through. That was just silly. But that's the whole purpose behind this is just gaining more knowledge as far as game design goes and being able to be self-sufficient on a team as small as us so that I don't have to pull other members of the team away from what they're doing to help me out as far as creating tools for me. This way, Dimitri didn't have to pull away from some of the destruction stuff he's working on. You know, um, Derek didn't have to pull away from any of the coding stuff he was doing, and neither did Rob because he's been busy with a lot of stuff. And I want to be able to do everything that involves level design on my own. Create my own tools, implement the functionality that Rob and Derek put together without them, having to do it for me. I mean, it's all stuff that I didn't know how to do when I started with this team. I didn't even know how to import models into Unreal when I started, but I learned quick. You know, trial by fire. That's my way of learning quick. It's like they, they throw you in the water, throw you in the deep end, and Boris Drago. If he dies, he dies. If he swims, even better. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, nothing for me as far as bugs since Saturday, I think. Yeah, good. But anyways, yeah, that's what I've been up to. Just trying to be a greater help to myself on the team and speeding up the workflow. So, anyways, I'm gonna get back to improving this tool because by tomorrow I want to go full force on starting to populate the map with what I wanted to populate it with. The reason I spent the last few days working on this is because as I was populating San Francisco, I kept coming up to sections where I found myself placing these assets into the level one by one, and it was just getting grueling. I was like, I can't fucking do this. This is idiotic. There's got to be a better, faster way to do this, and that's why I wanted to create this tool. So I feel much better now. It's working. Just need to tweak it a little more to get it to work exactly how I want it to. And I'll be back on San Francisco full force tomorrow, hopefully, if I can get this damn thing to work. But it's right there. It's right. So, anyways, if you're new around here, if you enjoyed the stream, please hit that follow, subscribe, like, whatever it is you got, wherever you're watching. My name is. I don't want to give my name. Just call me Silva. Um, I'm a 3D modeler, level designer for Cepheus Protocol, a co-op zombie survival RTS. You can pick it up on Steam and the Epic Game Store. You can also join our Discord of the same name, Cepheus Protocol. Jump in, check out what's going on. We're keeping players up to date as often as we possibly can. I mean, it's usually a daily thing, really. Uh, I do these streams Tuesdays and Thursdays. I try to jump on by 4 o'clock, but understand for me, game design, game development is number one. Streaming, it's a secondary thing that I do. These YouTube videos mainly just kind of fill you in on what I've been doing throughout the day, throughout the week, and yeah, I try to get on by 4, but like I said, sometimes I get locked in, I lose track, I'm too into the work, and I'll miss a day, or I'll just get on later. Either way, the VOD's up once the stream's over, and you can watch it. Um, so that's gonna be it. I'm gonna call it right here for the stream. Gonna keep tweaking this tool so I can get back to level design. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Once again, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitch. Same channel name, Silver Bullet Gaming. That's it. I'm out. I got work to do. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. And have a good night.